All right, everybody. We're going to get things started with our webinar here today. Again, I am Mike Flynn, one of the marketing coaches over at Thrive Hive, and I'm alongside one of our other colleagues from our marketing department, Kristen, and she's going to be moderating our discussion today. So what we're going to do is, work through our marketing mistakes webinar here. We'll have a little agenda we'll go through. We'll start off with that, do a little intro, and then, at the end, what we'll finish out with is, maybe we'll save like, 10, 15 minutes for some questions and answers. So if at all during the broadcast you have any questions, you can just go ahead and utilize the chat feature inside of the GoToWebinar. And Kristen will be here to take your questions, and then, she'll relay them over to me at the end, and we'll take them all on air for all to see and hear. Okay, so we encourage you to use that. So with that, we will get started with our little Thrive Hive and On Force little branded webinar here. All right. So again, we're talking about marketing mistakes. So, we all make them. A little bit of a learning curve for some things here, but we're just going to work through here, get a little quick introduction for you again to give you a little sense of what we're going to be talking about here today. And of course, as you can see, we've got a list of 7 mistakes that we're going to be highlighting here. Again, just sort of common things that we see, when working with small business owners across the country. These are fairly common in and amongst, business owners of all verticals really, and irrespective of, industry and location. So, maybe some of these apply to you, or maybe certain, small aspects of each one of these mistakes might be something that you're looking to improve yourself, or who knows, maybe it's something that you were unaware of to begin with. So either way, with that, we'll just get things going here. So our little intro, just talking about mistakes in general here. So, we all got to start somewhere, and, mistakes happen, and, it's what you learn from those. That's what matters. So again, this isn't necessarily about just, okay, what we're all kind of doing wrong or things we're looking to avoid. It's that, maybe we can also learn from what it is that we're currently doing and, try to work to improve them. So it's not just about what's not going right. It's maybe trying to, right the ship and then kind of learn from what it was that maybe went wrong for us. All right. So again, with that, any questions that kind of come up, just feel free to chat them in as we're moving along through our little list of 7 common mistakes. Okay. All right. So kicking us off at the top. So where's Waldo here? So what do we mean by this? As we know, him and his little, striped sweater. There's an awful lot of striped sweaters in all of those books over there, and there's all kinds of things that could look like him, and he's not always easy to kind of stand out, of course. So, your business is no different than that. So we want to think about, particularly in the digital space, want to think about, ways in which we can help our business get found. So if we're, doing things online that are sort of like the digital equivalent of, big signage outside of your place of business, or, a sandwich board, or, a big billboard, or, any of these kinds of things that make us, more visible out in the offline world, we're just, going to try to cross all our T's, dot all our I's for what it is that we'll be doing on the digital side. So with that, we're going to be looking at, ways in which we can get found by new customers online, and particularly by the search engines, Google, Yelp, Bing, etc. And again, always want to think about ways in which, a search engine can find us, because that's just the way that which, our, prospects, but any kind of consumer really, a lot of them are going to Google, or, they're going to social media. They're, searching around looking for things. So, back, X number of decades ago, you'd talk about the yellow pages. Well, the search engines have kind of replaced those in terms of importance. So if you weren't in the yellow pages, a few decades back, it was really difficult for people outside of those who already knew you to find you. So no different there. So talking about getting found, our digital sort of platform here, your website, simple things, listing your services and your location, those key things. If we don't know what it is that you do, you'll never get found on, a search engine like Google if you actually don't have, verbiage on your website that speaks to the types of services or products that you provide. And with those, keep, the searcher in mind. Keep your customer in mind when you are, trying to maybe tweak or even add or create content for your pages. Think about words and phrases that someone would actually use to find your service. And try to be, very specific to what it is that you are doing. Sometimes we can get a little caught up in some of the, professionalism or some of our, industry speak, but, just keep in the back of your head that that's not how your customer might see things. So they, use words and phrases that they might enter into a search engine if they are going to, find your, services page or your product page. Think of it like that. And again, your location, pretty obvious. Search engines like Google and the like are able to pair, business and or service with a location. So you want to try to make it easier for the search engine to kind of complete that puzzle, which answers the question, who you are, what you do, and also where you do it. So if you're, looking to get found by people in your area, it's really easy to help the search engines determine that by actually telling them where you are. So sort of, beyond that, so outside of your website now, looking at things like directories. So these are, more or less like, uh, you know, what would have been like yellow pages or white pages listings, similar kinds of things. So you have things like Google Plus, again, talking about Google. This is, you physically putting yourself on a map. So if you go to your, smartphone or you're on your tablet or desktop or whatever have you, and you're, you're looking for businesses and those little map results show up in Google, that's actually what you're looking at. So making sure that you have a listing on Google, make sure your Google Maps location has been claimed because that will help you show up for searches for individuals looking for your businesses or your services in your area. So maps, 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 without a doubt, very, very important. Yelp, for the same reason, Yelp having a a Yelp account, a Yelp page for your business, is one going to help people who are actively searching on Yelp. If you are someone who's, in any kind of, as we have a lot of IT types of businesses or any type of, service-based businesses out there, people are going to do their homework before they decide to commit to going, with you for, whatever it is that they need. So thinking about, trying to, you know, be able to establish your presence on a channel like Yelp so you can get found there and so you can also, get found on Google because a Yelp presence will help you get found on Google as well. Bing, sort of same thing. Bing has a very similar type of directory listing to Google. Um, and there's other type of online directories. In fact, there's hundreds of them, but we're just kind of highlighting the three big ones here. Feel free, I would even say, make a cursory mention of a cursory search of some of the maybe directories that might, be inside of your own industry that you might not even be aware of. So that would be a good little tip for some of you on the call here today. And lastly, simple thing, set up some social media accounts. Things like Facebook will have an impact on your Google search results as it is. So, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, all of these are, other mentions, other instances of your business online. So, they're all free. They're all easy to set up, and don't be afraid to just, get some, develop a little bit of a presence out there. Again, to try to get in customers who may be on these channels themselves. All right, so mistake number two, bad branding. So, and we have this idea of, your business kind of acting and being an entity unto itself, which is very much the case. Maybe not thinking of branding in the same way that like Coca-Cola or Nike or Disney would think about branding, but like a smaller business kind of branding here. So simple things just to kind of keep things very clean, very clear, very concise. Again, trying to cut down on confusion and give a solid, presentation both in terms of look and feel and sound from your business. More or less just for continuity, consistency, and professionalism from your side. And then for the, consumer or prospective, consumer, you're looking at, again, making it easy for them to find you. So what is that? Keeping, business and personal. We have a little bit of a separation there. So if you've got social media accounts or email accounts, it's not quite as professional if we're, emailing from, wild Mike at, gmail.com as opposed to Mike at thrivehive.com, right? A little bit of a difference there. And same goes for social media. It's great that you have and you should have a a life outside of work and what you do on the weekends. Hope you have fun, but maybe your business contacts on like LinkedIn or Facebook, maybe they don't need to see like family barbecue photos or whatever had happened with you and your family necessarily. So it's just trying to keep those things in line for yourself there. And again, personality, just trying to think about, are you a more personal brand? Are you gonna, maybe speak in the first person? Is it all about, we, us, and our, or is it about the business? So just trying to, always have that consistent sort of tone and voice there. So again, your consumers and your, potential, you've got some prospects out there. They again have a consistent, brand experience every time they're dealing with you across channels. And then speaking of that consistency, this is big, big, big. So keeping that same business name on every single channel and every single directory. So your Google Plus page, your Yelp page, your website, all of these, your Facebook page, all of these little, accounts that you have across, the web, you want to make sure that they actually have the same name. And you might think, well, it's a small detail, but it actually is a big deal. It's a small one, but a very impactful one from, again, the search engine side of things, because, again, we talk about making it easy for Google to recognize things, right? So if they recognize your business name and your location, and it's the same across all fronts, they will kind of use that information to make smarter decisions about who you are and what you do. So when someone, has a little search query, they can, pull you up as a result and they can know that that's actually what's happening. And again, just to not confuse consumers, if I land on your Facebook page and it's unclear to me if maybe that's the same website that I was just on. We just don't want to have any sort of hesitation or any sort of reason for mistrust or anything like that. We just don't want to lose the consumer as they kind of pull across, because we know they will, right? They're going to check out some of our different channels and some of our different pieces of marketing across the internet there. All right. So mistake number three, pushing too hard here. So, effort is great. And it's, again, talking about like learning things. This is sometimes a learning curve for a lot of small business owners that, I at least work with here at Thrive Hive, where, they get out there and they start doing these things and, step number one, get out and do it. Awesome. Like, way to get going. That's exactly what we want. Start digging in. However, sometimes we can want too badly, right, for the business, or we want, just too much to try to, promote whatever it is. So telling people what to do and maybe talking too much about yourself is sometimes has the opposite effect. So what you want to try to do in terms of, your marketing and so a lot of these outreach efforts is thinking about providing value. So I know you're sitting here and thinking, well, aren't you sitting here and telling us all about you? And you're kind of telling us what to do. True. But hopefully I'm going to hook you in on the end. So providing value to attract new customers, for something just as what we're talking about here, this webinar, I would hope to think that in the end, that we've got something out of this, whether it was one or two takeaways, or, maybe it was one like gem, one little small nugget, or maybe it was like seven things and you learned seven things. But either way, trying to, provide value. So thinking about being helpful. Again, consumers, the, I mean, they can eat up any type of resourceful information. So, you have blogs available to you, whether your website has a blog or not. If not, that's a great opportunity for you to start, being, not only portraying yourself as an industry leader and, portraying your expertise and giving people a sense of what it is that you know and the breadth of your experience, but, you can also be able to educate them and hopefully, build trust and help them, make the decision as to who they want to work with for a given, whatever product or service or problem they need solved. Ebooks are another great way to do that. You can do that via email as well. So just being helpful, trying to provide them with value. Everyone has what? Problems and pain points. And all of the businesses here, everyone has a solution, right? We all have answers. So it's just making it more about you solving problems and providing answers to people who we know have them out there. Um, you know, as it applies to advertising, think about those valuable services. Again, you're thinking about what? the benefit that you're going to provide to the consumer. Not so much about what it is that you're doing, but more or less what you're going to be doing to help them. So again, valuable services. How can you solve problems? And then, another great way, and you can use this, like something like a blog or, social media channels, is telling a story, letting us sort of into, who you are as a brand. What's that personality? Um, things that people are actually interested in. So you can, do a little bit more to maybe talk less about yourself and maybe, a little bit more about interesting things that people would want to hear. Obviously industry related, but nonetheless, any type of resourceful information is good, even if it doesn't exactly pertain to, your business as it is. Maybe it's something, related to the industry. That's a good way to, tell a story and let us know more about who you are and what you do. A little more subtle. So, this fast example here, and it's kind of like we got like a double example. So, just to kind of a little bit of a data point to kind of back things up, um, talking about providing value, right? So, we're looking at the statistic here provided by Constant Contact that says 61% of consumers enjoy receiving promotional emails. Well, promotional emails are a great way to provide value, right? It's in the terms of like, hey, savings or sales or discounts or, providing a solution that fits, a problem at a given time. So, right, thinking like something promotional. People like to hear about those. Um, and at the same time, we have what? Constant Contact using what is an Instagram account here to provide, us as in other businesses and small business owners amongst us here on the webinar that, you know, here's something that would be insightful for you. Here's a piece of valuable information for you. So just a great example of how that kind of comes into play. So, perfect segue. So, talking about Constant Contact, right into email here. So, this is something that, at least I find, again, with a lot of small business owners, they have a concept of email, they have, lists of contacts, in varying sizes, um, but it's sometimes a hesitation of how to use them because everyone's, you know, aware that, okay, it's a tool that I can use, but they either don't know how to use it well or they're always afraid of using it too much. They don't want to bombard people. So obviously, if you're following best practices, you're off to a good start. There's a lot that you can do with email marketing, but really to get started, there's like four big pillars that you can think about to really improve your email marketing efforts. First and foremost, slow and steady, not bombarding your email list. A good question that often a lot of my customers here at Thrive Hive have for me is, okay, Mike, well, how often is too often, and what is enough? And I'll say, all right, well, anything that's at least on the once a month kind of cadence scale, where it's, if you're starting out, maybe it's a monthly email newsletter that goes out to all of your contacts. So it might be, business or industry news or happenings in the area, whatever have you. But starting out once a month, great. And if you are, maybe a little bit more advanced, a little bit more sophisticated, experienced in the email marketing realm, think about, anything within the once a week. That would be fine. Or if you absolutely had to, don't ever hold back a piece of vital communication for fear of hitting somebody too much. So if that was, maybe a follow-up email that had to hit somebody in the same week, don't worry about it. So, as long as you're not hitting them several times a day, or even just avoid the once a day cadence, if you're between once a week and once a month, you're doing pretty well for yourself. Building a good list, collecting emails, whether those are current customers, people who have called you up, maybe people who have submitted a contact or, provided a general query through your website. Those are good contacts. So maintaining a good list. So it's all about, managing that list and making sure that you can, keep that updated because it's all about who's getting them, right? It's not just the content, but where it's going. A good subject line. There's a lot to be written about subject lines. It's actually fun fact here, or maybe not so fun fact. Some of our, most read blogs, and we're talking over the course of years here at Thrive Hive, and we work with, small business owners all over the country. Some of the most read content, some of the most interesting type of content that we have for our own customers and prospects actually surround subject lines of emails, because you can think about it. I know what to send and where to send it, but I need to make sure it gets opened, and a good subject line can help you do that. So we're going to take a quick look at an example of that in just a second. But again, just thinking about not just the who and the what and the when, but also that vital piece of making sure that you're getting clicked on when you hit that inbox. And this is a small detail, but a big one. And this is something that I encourage most of my clients to do more and more and more and more. Send a quick test. You would never uh, publish an editorial like in your local newspaper or any kind of publication right before kind of giving it a quick reread or maybe having someone else give it a reread. Set up a little list of you and maybe some other people in the office, and have that test go out and make sure spelling and grammar, the links, especially if you have a link, click here to claim the offer, or visit our website for more details. Really, really, really make sure that link works. You just don't want a dead link, because then it's kind of getting you nowhere. All right, so as promised, so talking about these subject lines. So we have this subject line of "We're not messing around." Now, seeing that in our inbox, there's a lot we don't know, right? First of all, it's not catchy or exciting. It's probably not going to catch anyone's attention. There's an offer on the other side of that. There's an offer inside that email. There's no mention of that. And then within the email itself, it's buried. The offer ends, it's pretty small. It's towards the bottom there. So we're missing a lot with this kind of email here in the weak subject line. A lot of like vagueness built into what are we clicking on? Why should I open this? However, if we take a look at this one, a great example of how to really use your subject line to the best effect. So, of course, we have 3 ways to win tickets to Sold Out Wine Riot in Boston. Okay, right away, we know who this is and what we're trying to do, and of course, what the offer is on the other side. So it's catchy, it's exciting. We can get free stuff, right? Everybody loves free things. So of course, sold out. There's exclusivity attached to that, right? Oh, okay, it's already too late, but I can get a chance. So again, that excitement. And then clicking through. So when you see that email, again, and comparing this one to the previous email, right away you can't help but see the big text: 3 ways to win sold out Boston, Wine Riot Boston tickets. And comparing that to the other one, the offer was buried. It was towards the bottom. It was very small. That's, some of the biggest text on the page. Okay. You're, again, spoon feeding the information. Make it really easy and really obvious for your recipients to know what to do. That's something that I encourage all of my clients to do as much as possible. Sometimes it's hard to see, because it is your business and you created the email and you thought of the offer. And we can almost be too close to it. So that's why it's another good reason to send a test email. Hey, can you take a look at this? Because it might not be, the action you want them to take. The offer, whatever it is, the action might not be so obvious to the recipient. So don't assume too much. You always want to make it very clear. Again, make it easy and obvious for them to take that action. Makes a big, big difference on the click through and the follow up on the other side. All right, mistake number 5. So failing to plan. Um, you know, kind of, I guess, goes outside of marketing as well, but applicable to many things. And I'm sure maybe not a big surprise to anybody here. And you're thinking, okay, well, how is this kind of insightful? Um, how is this just kind of related to marketing? And thing is, marketing plans exist. It's one of the things that, again, we try to work on with our small business clients here is, you know, setting up a plan. Where it is, where are you going, what are you looking to do, why, and then you're gonna make a roadmap for how to get there. Because if you're failing to plan, is planning to fail. So if you're really not sure of what it is that you're trying to do or where you're going, how do you gonna know where to go, and if where you're going is the right way, and if you've kind of hit your marks or missed them. So how do you fix it? How do let's look at the solutions here. And again, high level, like 4 pillars, simple things that everybody can do, or even just kind of take one of these little pillars and kind of tighten it up for yourself. I'm sure it'll have an impact. So at the outset, What is that goal? We don't know if we don't know where we're driving the ball, to what peg we're driving the ball, we don't know where to hit it, right? We don't know how far away to put it. There's an awful lot that kind of goes between where we're starting from and where we're trying to go. So, what is your goal? Um, can't be said, enough the importance of that, because even if you have a great concept of all these channels and these promotional tools, if you don't know where it is you're going, you're gonna fall short, or you're gonna kind of miss what it is that overall objective is. So start at the top and then kind of go down from there, and that starts with that goal. So, trickling back from that, tell yourself, all right, you know, how much time and or money, so the two most valuable resources to all of you small business owners out there, what is it that I can sort of allot to this effort? So my goal is X. All right, I'm going to get there. I need to do these kinds of things. I say time and money, because if you maybe have you know a little bit more of a budget and you're squeezed on some time, you can take the time to just maybe outsource some of these efforts, um, to help get things done a little bit faster for you, because you don't have the time to dedicate it, but you might have some more budget to work with, so you can get some outside help. Or maybe that's hire somebody else to do these things, in house, whatever the case may be. However, if you're tighter on budget, then okay, I have to allot more time to do this. So again, it's planning the actions and setting those goals, and then okay, I don't have the money for it, but I have to make the time. So again, it's just trying to manage things well, right? That's a part of any plan, right? Kind of managing and planning that through. And as we talk about looking ahead, same thing. What is that? Setting up a plan, and that's part of that time money sort of dovetail, that continuum there, trying to make those, find that good merge, that point where those things can come together, so you can actually you know succeed step by step by step, and make that plan, or at least stick to that plan, so you don't kind of go off the rails on the way to your goal there. And again, just consistency, again, sticking with it. So say to yourself, okay, I have a plan, don't panic, all of those sort of, mental things that as a business owner, so many of you, might even think to yourself, okay, um, how's this going? Are we kind of on task? It again just gives you things to kind of measure against. And, again, tying it back to the learning, it's okay, if you kind of go off a little bit, at least kind of know where things, where it went off and maybe why. So again, a plan kind of helps you learn from, where things kind of went wrong in the process. So number six here, referral reliance. This is a big one. Here at Thrive Hive, again, um, I work, one on one with a lot of small business owners, and without a doubt, a lot of the people who come in, for our little first marketing coach kickoff call, it's, hey, I have great word of mouth, and I get, steady referrals. And that's usually been the case for a lot of small business owners for, 2 to 3 years. And that's steady as she goes. And if that's, what you want for your business, and you're kind of on a steady clip and you're comfortable, great. Loyalty, word of mouth, you can't do anything better than word of mouth and referrals. However, that's really difficult to scale. Um, and, that's sort of just like one of the big profiles that, we see, at least here with people looking to grow their businesses, is, hey, I've got a great word of mouth and I've got a great referral program. However, that's what I've had for the last 3 years. I've got these two great things, and I just don't know what to do beyond that. So, don't try to put all of your eggs into that one referral basket. Okay. Thinking about using that good foundation. Okay, and it's great that you have those things, because they're more powerful than anything else that you can do. But it's okay, how do I take that base and build on it? So tying back some of these digital foundations here, thinking about good SEO to get found online. So if kind of referring back to mistake number one, talking about what it is that our website looks like, and more or less what it sounds like and what it actually says. Some good website search engine optimization. Those are things, again, like using keywords and phrases that your customers or potential customers would use to find your services, and making sure that those words and phrases are included throughout your website. And again, make it easy and obvious. Try to avoid complex industry lingo and technology speak, Think about what words and phrases people would use. If you're thinking about something along like something in the IT industry, if you're looking at managed services, okay, and that certainly exists, and there's some prevalence, there's some knowledge around that, but maybe more closely define what that is. So okay, managed services is one thing, but what does that include, right? What sort of problems are you solving? What benefit do people derive? What are the features of the managed services? I do X, Y, and Z to help A, B, and C. Again, because people, that's how the consumer thinks. That's how the consumer works online. Do I need help desk services? Okay, sure. But thinking about words and phrases that people would use. So maybe someone's going to use the phrase, you know, um, computer network outages. Okay, is that part of something that you would be rolling into some kind of help desk, or is it network troubleshooting, something along those lines? Um, just trying to think about what it is. Again, what problems are you solving? What solutions are you providing? The benefits. Just trying to get beyond some of that technical speak. What is it that you do? Trying to again grow your business. And again, these are going to help you, get found online, directory listings, really, really simple stuff. Making sure that, your Google, your Bing, your Yelp, all these listings, these are additional mentions of your business online. So, like every single one of those little directory sites is just one more way for someone to find you. Again, so you can grow your following, you can grow website traffic by setting up more of these listings because they're more up. These are creating one additional opportunity for someone to find you. And with a lot of those sites, you can also garner reviews. So, with Google and Yelp especially, consumers will actually rely on those reviews. So, a good solid, 4 or 5 star review will actually help you gain business because you would be seen as a, knowledgeable, professional, trustworthy, reliable business. And that's hugely important for, the prospective consumer. Again, talking about growing your businesses here, right? If I can see that there are X number of 5 star reviews on Yelp and X number of 5 star reviews on Google, first and foremost, you're going to rank higher on Google and Yelp for those things. So it's going to be easier to find you anyway, just because you have a lot of, you know, good star ratings. So the good star ratings help you get found by more people, but also on that conversion side, you know, those reviews are powerful. The again, thinking about word of mouth, right? Well, this is just a digital example of that, where if I have, 28 people who left 5 star reviews and can speak to your quality of work, well, that sounds good to me. People trust these things. They're not incented to leave the reviews, and in fact, they don't have to. So if there's something that's gone right and someone likes your services and they take the time to follow up and say something great about you, well, then you must be pretty great. So again, those reviews are powerful, and they're good ways to try to help convert people whom otherwise are out there just doing their research. Again, these are ways to separate you from everybody else, right? And thinking about social media here, one of these other digital pillars, can't you know can't speak to how big things like Facebook are, right? I mean, over 1 billion users. I don't even know what the latest number is. Like 1.3, 1.4 was the last one I remember seeing. And it's growing every day. Instagram's continuously growing. Depending upon who you're going after, is thinking about LinkedIn. So many of you probably have a fairly robust LinkedIn profile and a personal LinkedIn network. How are we leveraging that channel? I'm sure that there's a lot in the B2B space that can be used across social media. And just keep thinking about the idea that social media is a very easy and cost effective way to take advantage of, like, what I use the term like virality, right? So that's being able to spread word fairly easily, right? You can do things like tagging other businesses, using hashtags to help get found in online, or excuse me, social media searches. So there's like little tools that are built into these social channels that make it easier to, again, physically, get found, to actually be discovered by, people that are out there. So, trying to leverage social. It's free, it's easy, and it's effective. And again, coupled with all these things, these are great ways to help grow your business online. All right. So, um, number 7 here. So, our last little slide. And aptly kind of concluding things here, mistake number 7 is the fear of new things. So, as we kind of talk about, you know, a whole different, just all kinds of categories, a plethora of kind of, things we've gone over here today. But, some of these things might be new to some of you. Maybe the way that you do things might be new, if not, the channel or the idea of it might not be new altogether, but maybe you want to think about, taking a fresh perspective on, your social media or your website or whatever that is. Don't be afraid to change things up. And make mistakes. So of course we talk about, well, again, Mike, aren't you a little contradictory here? No, and just knowing that as long as that's part of the plan, right? Hey, I'm gonna try to update my website with more relevant content. I'm going to, go out there and, jump on social media. I'm gonna see what's happening. Yeah, I mean, go out and do it. That's certainly, one thing that even, I encourage people to do. It's something that we at Thrive Hive do. Go out there and try it, because if you haven't done it before, you can't say that it won't work, and you won't know until you try. So you might be able to find what something sticks, and wow, I actually, never would have thought of that. Falls, and some of these things can fall out of the box of tricks we're talking about here today. Think out of the box. If there's something that you think that actually might work well based on what it is that you know about your customers already, do it. Use what you know about, not just your products or your services, but use what you know about your audience. Where are they? What are they doing? Go after it. Do it and try it. Um, thinking about, some things here, learn new things. Do some research on your own. Hey, there's nothing to say that, if I haven't gone over it today, it doesn't mean it's something that can't be done. Do it. Let me know how it went. Feel free, always interested in learning new things. And I hope that so many small business owners are. Things often, people in, small business, risk takers themselves. So kind of use that sort of DNA to, apply that to your marketing efforts as well. Some experiments and just some examples here, contests, giveaways, things like that across social media. Hey, win a free consult, win a free, 30-minute, whatever. Send out an email blast if you haven't done something like that already. Where's your first email marketing campaign? Have you done it? No, try it. I had a customer who has been working with me, and we've been building up an email list for quite a while, and you know, talking about that monthly cadence. We talked about, how often to send something out. Quick success story. He's done 3 of those, his first 3, and sure enough, he got new business out of every single one of them. So, for me, it was great because it was like, see, hey, here we go, success. We'd never tried it, and so now the excitement around that, and you can kind of see how it works. So, again, trying to build off of what's happening. Um, you know, and one other item here in this list that I think so many small business owners that I come into contact with are actually very good at, and they're just not even aware of it, or maybe ways to kind of leverage it further. And that's things like collaborations. If there are, ancillary service providers in your area, or maybe they're online, or whatever have you, if there's some sort of, relationship or partnership that might be beneficial, go for it. Try it. Cross promote. You can get a lot out of. It's the sort of, you know, two minds are better than one. Two contact lists are better than one. You can again use some kind of referral traffic there, right? We're all kind of familiar with the concept of referrals. Well, company and company B, hey, they each have their own little contact list, their own little segments there. Well, two come together, they're bigger than one. And if company A says, hey, use company B for these kinds of services when you need them next. Well, as a customer of that first company, I like and trust you. Yeah, I mean, why not? This is someone that you like and trust. I should give it a try. So, again, you leverage those networks, leverage those connections, see where you can maybe make things move on that front. It's a great way to kind of, again, experiment with something if you haven't done it already. And it's a great, you can also pull it across email, you can pull it across your website, you can pull it across social media really, really well. And with all these things, and again, we talk about having a plan. This is no different. So if you are going to try something new, go for it, but you need to know if it works. So, if there's a way that you can track it, setting up, some kind of benchmarks. So if that's like website traffic, if it's social media followers, if it's, email contact subscribers, if it's an email open rate, if it's an email click through rate, anything digital is going to have a number associated with it. But if it's like, even some sort of, event or sponsorship opportunity, if you've got a flyer or a postcard, track like put a tracked phone number on it. Try and benchmark these things from before and after the events, but just find a way to capture some kind of information just to help you make a better decision for after the event or after the promotion is over, where you can say, okay, this took X amount of time or X amount of money, right? Our valuable resources, and say, okay, was the business that I got from this worth those two, the resources that I gave up to get it? It sounds very simple, but think about marketing in those terms, and it will help you be a little bit less afraid. I think, if you are willing to try and spend, you know, I don't know, $200 in some type of giveaway. That might seem risky, and you're like, well, I wouldn't have spent $200 otherwise, and I could just kind of, play it safe and do what I was doing. But what if that $200 giveaway resulted in, you know, X number of prospective customers, and one customer, you only got one customer out of it, but that customer might be worth 700 or 1,000 or 3,000 or 10,000. Think of it like that. So, oh, that $200 that I maybe was a little bit, close to the vest and didn't want to let it go, you know, let it fly a little bit, try it. Start small. And we talk about, starting small investments of time and money. Try it, see how it goes, and think about on the other end what you got in return. So that ROI, again, in marketing, we want to pay enough attention to that, so we're not just, again, throwing caution and time and money to the wind. But again, if you're trying something new, just try to measure it and think about, what you got in return. Was it worth what you gave up? Simple things, time and money, and then the return on the other side. That one customer is worth how much? Sure. Then, maybe I'll do a, you know, $500 giveaway, and maybe I can get three customers. Okay. So, you can maybe make smarter decisions and build things up over time as you go. And, on a kind of small note there, if you are kind of afraid to maybe try something and you are a little bit more apprehensive, one little quick tip for you might be, thinking about paying attention to what others are doing well. So if that's, you know, following some of your, maybe not some of your competitors, but in your local area, but maybe their competitors across the country, or something like that, follow them on social media. Do they have a strong following? Do they get lots of engagement? Yeah, follow their account, see what it is they're up to. What are they doing well? Subscribe to their email list. You know, do their subject lines catch your attention? Take note of that. Do their email offers sound compelling, or are they communicating? Again, communicating value. Hopefully they're doing a lot of these things here. The ones that are doing it well, you're going to find have got an awful lot of these, mistakes turned into, solutions. And they've got a lot of fixes implied. So think about what others are doing well. That's another great way to learn. So you can maybe, not be afraid to try something new if you are at all. All right. So, covered an awful lot of material here, through our 7 mistakes. So we're just going to kind of wrap it up, and then, in a couple minutes, we'll just take some of your questions. So again, don't be afraid to get out there and make mistakes. Learn from them, measure them, and learn, and, iterate, turn, make it better. That's the only way you're going to kind of get going. You always talk about those cliches, and of course, I'll mention it now. Those are like business, or any kind of business, or growth graph, right? They're not like these straight diagonal lines shooting from the x and y axis meeting on the bottom, all the way up. There's a little bit of up and down. same kind of thing here with marketing or anything that we're trying to encourage you to do. Progressing forward on the whole, but there might be a step back or a stumble here or there, but just know why you fell or why you stepped back. Big thing here, big thing. Digital foundations get found online. So setting up those directories. If you have some social media up there, stay active on those channels. If not, set up your social accounts. Thinking about optimizing that website for SEO, getting found. Um, when you are going to go out there and talk about yourself, promote things, advertise any kind of outbound kind of things, value, right? What are people looking at me for? Why do they need me? What problems am I solving? What solutions do I provide? What benefits, right? Benefits driven problem solving. Um, again, having a plan, can't say it enough. Think about the time and money, think about, your goals and make a plan for our way to get there, right? Start with a plan. What are your goals? Look at the time and money and the things it'll take to get you there. And with everything else, try something new. Can't say it enough. Don't worry about it. It's not going to be the end of the world. You got to get out there and try, or else, we won't really be taking too much from the other side with anything on those fronts. So don't be afraid to try it. Okay. All right. So, as I said, we're going to finish with some questions. So I'm going to just turn over to Kristen, my co-pilot over here, and she's going to relay some questions that have been chatted in or asked throughout the webinar, and I'll repeat them out for you and take them as we go. Yeah, of course. Um, so here at Thrive5, we've got a guided marketing platform is what we offer out to the small business owners. So we ourselves work with small businesses across all industries, all across the country. And so our guided marketing platform, just makes it easier for the small business owner who, wears so many hats and doesn't have so much time to understand not only what they're doing with their marketing and what's working, but provides you with an easy way to kind of manage it. So, we've got social media integration inside the platform to make it easy to, manage your social media. Email client is in there, so you can send out emails. And again, there's reporting attached to the emails, just like social media. You can track your website, you can track leads, all the things that try to, sort of under one umbrella, make it easy for the small business owner to understand, to manage what's going on and understand what's working and then help you act on that. So it's kind of like the piece of software there. And then, we have things such as myself as another piece of that sort of small business component. We do have coaches, marketing coaches, and we work directly one-on-one with small business owners. So I've got, a group of clients that I work with and, do a little bit more of a deeper dive and give them some guidance, act more or less as like a marketing consultant for whatever it is that somebody might need to help grow their business. So that's how I come into the customers and help educate them and take them further with my own experience with small business owners and having been a small business owner previously myself. Yeah. So the question was referring back to referrals. So how do you get better word of mouth if that's not something that you sort of have like as part of your foundation already? Um, and that's where you can use things like you know the online reviews and things like social media to kind of help you. So whether these are reviews and testimonials to get like the digital sort of write off or the digital signature on what it is that you can do, and start off by asking for a review. People. I mean, I'm sure that there are some out there who would be more than willing to leave a review, but I encourage my customers who I work with to hey, if someone's had a great experience, toss them a little note to follow up. You'll kind of build your online, sort of word of mouth. Um, in having said that, with the referral program or word of mouth, taking things on or offline, feel free to try to, just encourage people, share, to share your links, get out there and, say good things about you. But if you need to incent them, do it. If it's something simple like, offer them some type of, small discount or a bundle on something for a referral or anything along those lines, go for it. But yeah, word of mouth. I mean, go out there and if you know that you do a good job, just try and ask for those reviews online. It's a great way. Even if it's on social media, it's a really great, easy way for people to see some of those things that you're able to provide for people. Encourage people to tell and share their stories online, whether reviews or social media. It's a great way to do it. I know I forgot to repeat that first question. The what? Yeah, the Thrive Hive helpful. Yes. Yep. So as far as Thrive Hive is concerned, so we have a. Oh, sorry. As yeah, I mean the question was, what is how much does Thrive Hive and is there email marketing involved? So again, Thrive Hive is the software piece of the platform is $49. So that's to kind of get started. I know that as I pull up my last screen here, a lot of some of you who were coming in through OnForce, you may have actually already been involved with a conversation with maybe one of our marketing specialists here. Um, so I will say that there is actually a free trial going on for everybody who comes in through OnForce. So if you haven't already, you can call our number here, which is right up on my screen, or we have a dedicated landing page here for a demo request if you want to kind of get more information and see actually for yourself on a live call with one of our marketing specialists a little bit more of the behind the scenes and the happenings of like the platform itself. But yes, there's a free trial happening right now, which is 30 days, no obligation, risk free. So sign up, join, do it. And then from there on out, the platform itself is $49 month on month. And again, there's no subscription there. It's um, month on month. So it's 30 days free trial to start, and then each month thereafter it's $49 a month for the software package. Yeah. So the question had to do with directory listings and speaking to a point that I addressed earlier, which was sort of keeping that, with respect to branding, that consistency across. Um, in the sort of examples of, if it's something with the word the associated with it. So if it's, like the marketing company or whatever, um, you know, technically speaking, like the word the isn't going to impact you too much. So whatever that is, just stick with it. So, if you have, I would always start with your website. So if you have the listed on the name of your business on the website, start with it. Is it going to be hugely detrimental to you? No. However, I would always say stick with one thing. So if you've got something somewhere, just make it the same. Now with something like company or CO, we are talking about a different word there. So where there's an inclusion or exclusion of the word the at the beginning can be less impactful, although I'd want those to be consistent. If you have co or company and that's sort of like inconsistent across the directories, that is something that I would recommend you actually try to write. So that way it's, and again, one or the other, start with your website, whatever their website says, I'll kind of go with that. And make that sort of like the default. So that whether that's co or company, make sure that it's the same across everything. All right. Yeah, I don't think we have any other questions. So, um, Yeah, so what we'll do here, we'll close things out. I just want to thank everybody for joining in on the call today. I hope you were able to kind of take away, at least one or two things. Again, providing some value. Hope we were able to do that for you here today. And thanks for everybody for chiming in with the questions. And again, we'll be providing all the attendees with a recording of the webinar here today. So you will see this follow up in an email. But again, if you haven't already, I know, as I said, some of you are in talks with some of our sales specialists already. If you are interested, feel free to call the phone number here again at the end of the presentation, or we have a dedicated landing page for you as well if you want to request a demo and see and learn more, on a live call. It's actually a good opportunity. All right. So I want to thank everybody and hope you have a good rest of your day. And good luck with all of your marketing efforts moving forward. Hope we've been able to get some good insights out of our time today. Thanks, everybody.